Hello and welcome to season 1, episode 7 of Music in Film with Luana. And right next to me is
Luana. Hi guys.
How you guys doing? Hopefully good. I mean, can't really get a feedback since it's so how you been?
I'm great. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. What do we have on the agenda for episode 7?
So episode 7, it's a special topic. We talk about mental health, which I find is really important, and people should talk more about it. And I found a great article on billboard.com, no, Rolling Stone, sorry, okay. rollingstone.com, and there are
wait, before you get into that, can you give them like the title of the article, just in case if they want to look it up?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't really write it down. I can send the link.
Yeah, we could post a link later.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, it was music features. We can't have all our artists die. How the music industry is fighting the mental health crisis.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's a pretty long title, but
it's a very long title, but also a lot of information, and I was surprised by some numbers.
Oh, okay.
So
dive right into the numbers.
Yes. So. So from the Music Industry Research Association, 50% of musicians reported battling symptoms of depression, compared with less than 25% of the general adult population. And nearly 12% reported having suicidal thoughts, and nearly 4 times the general population.
Oh wow.
That's a lot.
That is pretty high.
Yeah.
That is pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think are some of the factors that causes that? I would say the pressure is part of it, like the pressure to always please a fan base. I think that's a major part of it. Yes,
stress, anxiety,
exactly. Yep.
Fear of loss, fear of failure.
Exactly.
And 70, especially independent artists without a label, like 73% of them, they are battling with stress.
73.
And it's a
what
lot.
about the majors?
The majors,
like a major label artist. I mean,
major label artists, I can talk about Club 27, a la Amy Winehouse, and so
there you go.
I mean, it doesn't success doesn't necessarily mean that you're happy.
Yeah.
Some
definitely
artists are afraid of having success, and they don't know how to handle everything, how to handle paparazzis.
Yeah.
Like Britney Spears, who shaved her head in public.
Yeah, I remember that.
So it's like crazy. So money is not everything. Money and fame can actually,
especially now when you have like social media is like so constant. Back then, I'm not saying it wasn't bad for her, but like Britney Spears, like you mentioned, you had like paparazzis and you had like tabloids, but it's not as intense as it is now.
Right.
Whereas literally every second there's like a new post on this celebrity. You have all these outlets on Instagram like Ball Alert and the Shade Room and so on and so forth.
Even diehard fans. I can talk about Madonna. She has several injuries and she has to cancel some of her shows, and she canceled like 45 minutes before the show was supposed to start, and fans flew in from different countries, and so they got a refund for the ticket, but not for hotel and travel costs. So
I didn't even think about how that affects them.
Really, like fans, they complained on social media, on her Instagram, and
even her own fans.
Yes, even her own fans. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah.
And then of course Kanye West. I mean, he is publicly talked about his battles with depression and mental illness. So I mean, so what was your overall takeaway from the article?
Also what can cause this mental health is album sales. They continue to fall, and record labels and digital distributors gobble up the majority of streaming revenue. And artists essentially have no choice but to tour more and more.
So basically, loss of revenue affects them. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So and they have to tour more.
Yeah.
And then people are working twice as hard to stay in the same spot they used to, and the pressures are ratcheted up.
Okay. So basically, musicians now, they're not being properly rewarded for their work.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like everyone else is being rewarded. Like Spotify is being rewarded for the work, or TuneCore, or Tidal, or Pandora, or whatever. But the artists themselves, they have to work twice as hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so funny because a lot of people look at the music industry like, those guys are all rich, you know, who cares? But most of the musicians in the music industry are just earning regular incomes, you know?
Yeah, minimum wage,
yeah,
or
exactly.
they have a day job. And yeah.
But then you look at people like Drake, or, I don't know, Katy Perry or something, and be like, oh, so they're all making money, so who cares? No. Most of these, like I said, most of these individuals are just trying to earn an income to support their family.
Right.
They're not all multi-millionaire rock stars.
Yep.
And I think that plays a factor into it too, because then, say for example, a musician is saying, I'm experiencing mental health issues. They're not really taken seriously because, like, you're rich, you're famous.
Exactly,
what do you have to complain about? So it's like all these factors that play into it. So
yeah, and also the other factor would be financially instability and all kinds of stresses. Loneliness, of course. You're lonely because because it's your career.
Exactly.
And it's your way, your path, and nobody really can understand you, and you're basically dealing with two personalities, with the artist and with your private person, private life. And it's sometimes hard to separate it, the artist with your private life, and sometimes it comes together, and it's hard.
Did they offer any potential solutions in that article, or like ways artists can seek help?
Yes, I come to this point. Then of course it's sad, but as you know, musicians or in general artists are surrounded by drugs and alcohol, and poor sleeping can cause also depression,
you're touring a lot.
And eating habits, like lack of access to quality health insurance and care. And creatives in the industry today suffer more because their routines are so destabilized.
Okay. Yeah, I think that sucks, man.
It's not like not a regular schedule. And for example, if you're touring internationally, you have to deal with jet lags. You're touring from city to city. Sometimes you that also happened to my daughter. She was like, hello Brazil, and she was actually in Argentina.
Oh, wow.
She forgot, oops, actually I'm in Argentina. Because her schedule is so busy, like sometimes she only has one day off, and the one day off is a travel day. Her
one day off is the
travel day to the other city.
Like if she has 6 cities in 7 days, that one day is the day off. Well, the day off, but it's just a travel to
exactly.
the next city.
And also she rehearses a lot, so she's a perfectionist, and she never goes to sleep before 4 a.m. And
never
also
goes to sleep before 4 a.m.?
Always after, because she is a night person, and also I met some of her musicians when she was rehearsing at BAM, Brooklyn Academy of Music, when she was opening her Madame X show, and so I got some inside scoop, and they rehearsed. All her stuff had to arrive around 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, and then Madonna showed up at 11 p.m. And then she did her show run until 5.
How long was her set?
5 a.m. in the morning, so for rehearsal. Her set was about 2 hours, two hours and a half.
She started rehearsing from 11 p.m. until 5 a.m. the next day? Whoa.
Monday to Saturday.
Wow.
Wow.
Wait, is this recent or is this like a while ago?
That was when she before she opened her show in New York.
Okay.
So around, they rehearsed from June to September, and September 17 she opened her Madame X show.
Wow.
Uh-huh. So
I didn't know wow. I didn't know you would rehearse that long for a show from June to September.
Yeah, she's a perfectionist, and she even
close to 4 months.
Yeah, rescheduled some show dates. Actually, her the opening night was supposed to be September 12th.
Wow. That's a lot of rehearsing.
Yeah, a lot.
Wow.
And over, and she changes a lot. And she's like, she wants to have control over everything that makes her happy.
Clearly.
And she only sleeps like 3 or 4 hours or something. And she's a control freak.
Does she still tour?
Yes, now she's in London, and then she's going to Paris until March. Yeah, it's insane, and her left knee is bad. She has a bad knee injury, and her hip. She's still performing.
It sounds like an athlete.
Yeah.
You know? It's like she has a bad hip and bad knee.
Mm-hmm.
You think that this person's like a professional athlete.
Yeah.
And some people may say, well, she's just holding a microphone and like doing like a better version of karaoke, but it is hard work.
It is. Yeah. Everything.
It is intense.
There's so much pressure.
Exactly.
And yeah.
And then you have to please like 20 to 30 to 40,000 fans, and then you have to do all this traveling. It's pretty intense, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What else with this article?
What else? So, okay, for every artist that stands on stage, there are 10 to 100 crew members, invisible to the public, who make the performance happen.
Yeah.
And those crew members they have burnouts and the same way as artists.
The only difference is those background people, they don't get any mention at all.
Yeah.
Well, for the most part, they don't.
I mean, since I also work in production, I know how hard it is to set up a stage, and they get the less sleep, and it's and also there somebody died. Because there was something wrong with the stage, so he died.
Yikes.
Yeah.
When was this mentioned in the article, or?
Yes, that was when was it, 2008 or 2009, and then there was another accident, truck accident for the stage, and so tragic happens, behind the scenes.
That sucks. Yeah, that's a downer.
Showbiz, show still must go on. Yeah, and then okay, there are many reasons why artists struggle with mental health, and because okay, that's really interesting. Centers in the limbic system that control negative emotion tend to be more heavily located in the right side of the brain.
Okay.
Yeah. So if your if your negative thoughts and negative beliefs are stronger than your positive beliefs, then you're like stuck, and
it makes sense.
Yeah, and you feel like you cannot get out, and it's you see the world from another filter. And
I mean, understandable. I mean, if you think more negatively than positively, then chances are you're going to do something negative.
Right, exactly.
Like drink or do drugs or hurt yourself.
Okay, and translation means right-brained people, like artists, who can more easily tap into their feelings, tend to have dominance in the side of the brain that creates more creative emotions, and we might even say there is a predisposition for that.
Wait, break that down. So are you saying that their brain shrinks? Wait, read that one more time.
Okay. Right-brained people, like artists,
yes,
who can more easily tap into their feelings, tend to have dominance. Dominance.
Oh, dominance.
Dominance. Sorry, dominance in the side of the brain that creates more negative emotions, and we might even say there's a predisposition for that.
They have more dominance over the negative side. So if they have more dominance, wouldn't that mean they'll be able to combat it better? Like, wouldn't they be able to control it better if they have more dominance over it?
Yeah, I would say yeah, because I think like that's also why whenever the singer of Him, I forgot his name.
Of Him.
Him, the band Him. He said in an interview that whenever he feels down, he always writes the best music.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So basically, they could turn a negative into a positive.
Yes.
Better. Okay.
Like music is healing them.
Gotcha. Yeah. That
They artists need it. That's why they write good music. Yeah.
Now that's ironic.
It's ironic, actually.
They need it, but it can also harm them. Interesting.
Yeah, like medicine.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. Like artists are like, oh, I thrive on negativity. I thrive on when something is bad.
Yeah. Because
I'll use it to my advantage.
Exactly.
But then it sometimes can overwhelm them, and then they resort to drugs, alcohol. So
yeah, you have to like know your limits and how deep you can how you can dive in and yeah. And so okay. So okay, yeah. As you know, yeah, like DJ Avicii, Songdance, Chris Cornell, yeah, and Linkin Park's Chester Bennington all died by suicide at a very young age. So.
I think Avicii, the EDM artist, I'm not really sure I'm pronouncing that right, but he was what, like 20 something?
Yeah, 26 or 7.
Okay.
I have to look it up again.
I know, still young.
Yeah, under 30. Yeah. It could also be that he was really successful back then before he died, and maybe that was also a reason some artists they cannot handle their success.
Yeah. And then you have all the other artists who are just like they died accidentally from a drug overdose or something.
Right.
Like Matt Miller or Juice WRLD or how did Amy Winehouse die?
Amy Winehouse overdose. She was actually playing. She had a music session.
Oh,
she was in a good mood, and what she did is drug stuff and yeah. But she also mentioned she wants to join Club 27.
Die at 27.
Yeah.
Yikes. Yikes. That is eerie. Wow. So she said that on a song or just like joking in like an interview or something?
I mean, she always was on drugs for a long time. Not always. I mean, like when she really became famous, and she lost a lot of weight and she looked really unhealthy and she had some weird habits and yeah.
I mean, go back to an earlier point you were making about artists using that into their music. Most of her music was about that.
Yes, about rehab and stuff like that.
She died pretty young too. Who else is in Club 27?
Kurt Cobain.
Okay.
Nevada. Janis Joplin.
Oh, okay.
Jimi Hendrix.
Whoa, Jimi Hendrix died when he was 27? Drug overdose.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah, it's really sad.
That is depressing. Okay, nice job, Luana. That's.
Yeah, and now the music industry is taking action like never before to address the growing mental health crisis. There are new initiatives popping up from both corporate giants and grassroots organizations, festivals and benefits being planned to raise awareness of mental health, and of efforts by record labels and artists to raise mental illness. And musicians from Bruce Springsteen and Justin Bieber to Lizzo and Demi Lovato are increasingly opening up about their own mental health struggles.
She almost died from a thing as well, Demi Lovato.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's good that they open up, so...
But at the same time, most of these labels, I mean, I hate to say this, but they don't really care about the artists. As long as they can keep making money off the artists. Exactly. As long as they can keep making money off the artists. And
like a money machine. That's also like sometimes artists, they feel like they're treated like a money machine. That's what
like a product.
Lady Gaga told in an interview.
She feels like a product.
She feels like a product. And also Britney Spears, she became famous at the age of 17, I think, really early.
Yeah. And
she felt like they made a product of her, an image.
Yeah.
And
understandable.
Yeah. But now, so there are like clearing houses for long-running mental health resources. Number one is Music Cares. The Recording Academy launched Music Cares to lend medical and financial help back in 1989. But recently the number of resources for musicians in need exploded.
Wait, Music Care has been around for 31 years? Interesting.
Yeah. And then there's we've lost so many artists that industry leaders are finally paying attention, and they're realizing we can't have all our artists die.
Yeah, they just realized that. Yeah. Interesting. Michael Jackson died from an overdose as well.
Yeah,
but
and there was some weird stuff.
Yes, with his doctor. Yeah.
Yeah, with his
that's a bit different.
His milk. That's what he said.
His milk.
This is my milk. I need my milk.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah.
Weird. Continue. That was yikes. I didn't hear that. Something about his milk.
And there's a Backline. It's an organization dedicated to connecting musicians and anyone in their orbit, from roadies and sound engineers to agents and family members, with mental health resources. And you can also schedule a phone call with one of the managers.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, talk about your issues.
Pretty cool. Especially if you're on tour and you're just sitting in your trailer, you just like pick up the phone call.
That's great.
Pick up the phone.
Number 3 is Street Relief Musicians Fund. It provides financial assistance to all types of Korean musicians who are struggling to make ends meet.
Okay, so like for independent artists.
Yes. Okay. And while facing illness, disability, or age-related problems, in other words, healing musicians in need. Yeah.
Okay.
Number 4 would be HAAM, and it has been It has been helping Austin-based musicians across affordable health care for 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's good to know that to have help, and you can reach out, and you're not weak if you reached out. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that should be like the main message. Like, don't be afraid to ask for help. You know?
Yeah.
And you're not weak for asking for help.
It makes you grow.
Not only that, it makes you stay alive.
It makes you stay alive.
Like,
And you also give a voice to people who don't have a voice, or people who are afraid to talk about their mental health issues.
I think there are 2 main issues. Number 1, in the music industry, at one point it was cool to do drugs. Like, wait, you're a rock star and you don't do drugs? Like, that was like cool.
It was like a brand, yeah.
And then number 2, if you had said you was experiencing like mental health issues, people would take you for a joke or something. Like, oh, you're not strong enough.
Right.
Which is ridiculous. So it was like those 2 weird conflicting points. you're cool if you take drugs, and you're cool if you don't want to take drugs, and you're asking for help. So it's like, okay. So I can see how like a lot of artists was like, so where do I turn to? I don't want to take drugs, and I can't tell people I'm feeling sad or, you know, I'm feeling down. So what do I do? So yeah, I'm just glad that things are progressing in the right way, where people can actually ask for help without being looked at as weird.
Right.
And people also stop pushing the stigma of, not stigma, stop pushing this narrative of drugs are cool. So yeah.
It's good, yeah. And the American Society of Composers, Authors and Publishers, ASCAP.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that sounds like ASCAP.
Yes, ASCAP debuted an awareness program called Tune Up in response to a survey that found musicians are 31% more likely than the general population to say their health and wellness majority impact their careers.
Oh.
Yeah. And ASCAP will launch recovery support groups in several cities and online, and plus offer a discount to its 7,200 5,000 members and fitness, nutrition and mindfulness services.
Nice. Go ASCAP, you know, proud member.
Yeah.
So yeah, is that it?
That's it, yeah, for this episode.
An incredibly depressing episode, but completely worth it. And I think this conversation should happen more. You know? It's a great article. Want to give them the title one more time? It's,
if you go to rollingstone.com/music, features We Can't Have All Our Artists Die, how the music industry is fighting the mental health crisis.
Okay. All right, check out that article. And yeah. Drop your Instagram.
My Instagram is luanasandra.official.
All right. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
No, it's a vibe. Yeah. Back to the vision, stone cold. I'm tripping through your soul. I'm falling through the holes in your heart. Now we all living in the base, keep open, but I just can't seem to shake it off. Oh no, can't stop thinking about you. Pretty face and the body with them tattoos. When I'm chilling with you, you make me feel brand new. Am I tripping or am I